They've obviously been a bit of a bogey team this season. What have you done to address that this week?
I think that the first time we played, they were probably just too good for us, and we learnt from that. And I thought the first half when we played, we were outstanding. Second half, we were awful. We do match up well on them, and vice versa. There's always a great rivalry with us, and it's not a matter of what are we doing against them. We've just got to get better every week, and that's what we keep talking about.
There is a great rivalry, as you mentioned, with a few of those ex-Perth boys and stuff. Talk us through that.
Oh, well, they're just super competitive players. You know, Worthington, Harvey, they're Perth boys, and whenever they come back home, they want to prove a point to everybody, and they'll want to do the same again. And you know, we're just two very, very competitive teams. That's what it comes down to.
Nice gap between games this week. How's the preparation been?
Yeah, it has been. Beforehand, it was you know, 4 games in 8 days, and now we've got 1 game per week pretty much for the remainder of the season. So that's great for us. Good preparation, good recovery time.
And Drew missed training earlier in the week. Is he okay?
Yeah, no, he's fine. He just had a cortisone shot just while we had that time off. We thought we'll give him a jab just to overcome a bit of an ankle injury, so he's fine.
Any other injury worries?
Not that I'm aware of. Everybody seems to be good, so everybody's training.
So how do you go into this game? Do you need to go a bit bigger against Gold Coast and bring JT in, or are you happy with the lineup?
We're trying to make it a competitive environment each week, and of course you've got to look at the matchups, and JT's had a good week this week, so we'll just see how we go today and then make a decision tomorrow.
Gold Coast 6 and 7 I think at the moment, but before the season you were sort of saying that you thought they'd be one of the top couple. Have you been surprised with them?
Yeah, they've probably dropped games that I was surprised with, and I know that this week was boot camp for them. Joey's pretty peed off at the moment, and there's no doubt that it's a tough schedule for them. They've got us and then they've got Melbourne, I think, twice. So it's going to be a big week for them, and there's no doubt that they want to, well, it's a want and must win for them.
It's a bit the same as Melbourne last week, where they got the 2 on the same weekend. Do you expect them to really fire up for the first one then?
You have to. You have to go in with the approach that you're going to win that first game, and then you've got to try and recover as much as you can. And if they do that, they can definitely win both games. But obviously, our goal is to beat them. Given the position, you guys sitting number 1, and you're talking about the fixture going forward, you look like you're pretty well set up to lock in that top 2. Yeah, well, we hope so, but there's no way we're going to rest on any laurels at all. We've had a tough first half of the season. We're now coming in the back end of the season, so it's important that we do get better, and I'm very, very happy with what we're doing defensively. I think we're playing good enough D to win a championship, but offensively we're spluttering at the moment, and that's an area that we've got to get a lot better at. Has that been a major focus this week? Yeah, you don't want to tweak a whole lot of things, but I just thought our spacing and our ball movement was very poor, particularly against Melbourne. So yeah, we've definitely been working on that.
How important is that home court advantage when it comes down to finals?
When you've got 4,500, 5,000 people there cheering you on, they get you up. And I think that's just something that's amazing, that our crowd is A6 man. So it's important if you can get that home court advantage. If you're in a hole, you know, when the crowd gets you going, sometimes that really helps. Is that something that you guys have really focused on as the weeks go by, I suppose, in taking into each game? No, you don't set out and say, oh yeah, we must be top 2. I mean, we always set out we have to make the playoffs. But right now we're setting ourselves up to be a top 2 game, and but being that whenever you're on top, people put that you're a target, they want to come out and kick your butt. So it's always harder to stay on the top. So we've got to make sure that we continue to try and outwork teams, and if we can do that, we're in pretty good shape. Do you feel like that at the moment, that you are a target and teams are coming out harder against you? Yeah, I've found that since being in Perth, just being the Perth Wildcats. I just find that every single game we play, we're like one of the most hated teams in the league. So everybody just wants to beat us, and sometimes it is hard to try and keep our guys up. But you know, that's the challenges of coaching. In some way, though, can that bring out the best in these guys? You mentioned how competitive they are as a group. Yeah, it is, and that's what we've tried to build over time, is to make our guys just work as hard as they can and be competitive every game. And overall, they are doing a tremendous job, but I know that we can still improve. Melbourne came out with so much energy in that first quarter last week. Gold Coast will obviously do the same. How do you sort of prepare the guys for that? Well, We've played them twice. As I said, I thought they outplayed us the first game, and then the second half they kicked our butts, and that hurt. That was to me, that could have been the turning point for our season. We've won 3 in a row now, and I think our guys are very, very aware of what they can do. Very, very switched on. So we know they're going to come at us, whether it's the start of the game, the end of the game, and we've got to make sure that we weather the storm the whole game.
Do you feel like you owe them one?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. As I said, first game, too good for us. Second game, I think we really blew that. So there's no doubt that we don't want to lose 3-0 series to the Gold Coast. So it's important that we, for our sake, don't let that happen.